It's gonna be terrible. This is gonna be the worst lumberjack on a roof.
Mine already looks like a bat, so it can't be worse than mine.
Please pick any piece of paper you're feeling, and then please pick a blue one, and then you will reveal them now.
On the roof.
Mine is lumberjack. Which I don't remember reading in the script.
It's not in there, but I'll tell you why I wrote it down. It's
Okay.
because Ross kind of has that vibe for me.
You'll be so delighted you said that.
Okay, great. It is, you're right in saying that it's unsettling and it's beautiful, and that's what I came away with in the film, because the whole time you're like, what really has happened here?
Right.
And your character is really just trying to hold it all together.
It really is. Yeah. it
In
really
this
is.
in this incredibly transformational time in her life, and she and her husband's life together, and she's pregnant, and
Yeah.
it's like I was scared for your character.
Yeah, I feel like Andrea was going through something where when her husband is losing his grip on reality, her reality is coming at her like a train, and it's being cemented in the present, and she has to be present, she has to be in the moment, she has to look after herself in a time where she's been, where it would be easier, I think, to want to look after him and want to care about him and want to make sure he's okay, but there's this other thing that's going on in her world, which I think makes it all the more frightening for her.
All the more frightening.
And it's never that she's scared of Sean, it's never that she's scared of her husband, but she's scared of what scares him. Mm-hmm. And there's it was a really wonderful character to play, because I got to learn so much about, even women suffering with preeclampsia. I didn't really know anything about that. And
You and the rest of the world not knowing about women's health. You know what I mean?
exactly
Even
it.
I'm learning things about myself.
and learning so much and knowing what a hardship that is on your body, on your mental health, and then in this film going through what Sean is going through, it's a roller coaster.
It's a lot. Do you feel like the inclusion of drones in filmmaking is one of the biggest innovations that we've seen in a while? Because I think it makes it so easy to do something that before was so difficult.
Yeah.
100%. And it was wild to watch the drone operators, and they pulled it there was a lot of timing involved in that, and we were really pressed for time, as you are on most indie films.
Every time.
And so the fact that I can't think and I can't talk and draw at the same time.
I know, isn't it funny?
It's wild. This
It's
is going to
funny.
be terrible. This is going to be the worst lumberjack on a roof.
Mine already looks like a bat, so it can't be worse than mine.
I got to change up the colors here. So there was a lot of timing involved in it, and it all came together. It was kind of a miracle.
It certainly did.
A lot of planning. And then the stuff after that scene, we shot at this place called Willow Studios in downtown LA. It's an old meatpacking factory, right, or processing factory.
Oh.
And there are all these weird metal rooms and things. We used it for a couple of scenes. And so that was where we were able to, play with. We had a lens baby lens on the camera, so do some of those weird distorted shots and things like that.
And those are called lens babies?
It's the lens baby is the lens, yeah. And so it gives you that.
It's really cool because it keeps things sort of sometimes in focus and out of focus. And our cinematographer Alex is amazing and a genius and creative.
Yeah.
It's really eerie and unsettling, but also sort of magical looking shot. Now remember, I have not seen the whole film. I get to see it on premiere night.
I've got one up on you. There's this element of it where, his character has been taken,
Yes.
question mark? But because that's how I was viewing it, because I was, there's so much uncertainty there. But then one of the outcomes of that is that there's this self-expression that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
And it made me think about, symbolically, is there something that I've gone through in my life that it was really challenging, but gave me some kind of skill that was so useful that I
unlocked something.
unlocked something.
Yeah.
And it, do you feel like, Peter, that that's ever kind of applied to you, that it's like, boy, it was tough, but in the rearview mirror, it made sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think the process, like when I was writing it, I was going through a tough time, and it's reflected a bit in the movie. And it unlocked, it reshaped my priorities in life. But I've never experienced something like, so sudden savant syndrome is what it's called. And I was just reading articles about it, and there's people that have these head injuries, and then suddenly they're gifted pianists and they've never played piano in their lives.
Wow.
And it's a very rare condition. But there was a case that I was reading about in Florida where a guy got beat up outside of a bar, and he had severe brain injury, but he came through it on the other side, and he was fine, at the end of it. But he could play piano. He could play like
Incredible.
full, classic, like he could play everything.
Wow.
And so it's the brain. I've just always been fascinated by the brain and what it's capable of.
Sure.
And things that we haven't unlocked yet.
Because we know so little about the brain.
Yeah.
And we're, I still don't know if this is fully true or if science just doesn't understand it yet, that we only use like such a small percentage of our brain.
Right.
What are we really capable of? I mean, so many great movies have been made with that in mind.
Right.
Could I be a fire starter? Like, is that a thing?
Yes.
Maybe.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So, with that, we are nearing completion of this. So,
Okay.
find the element that you want to finish working on. So, what was the set of this movie like? Because I don't necessarily count this as a horror movie per se, but it's also something more than that. It's I feel like it's an emotional exploration too. Oh God, what did I say before
What was
that?
the set like?
Yeah, what's the set like on a movie like that? Because horror movies sets are usually the exact opposite, like hilarious.
Well, I feel like our set had a nice mix of, I think, people who actually knew each other pre-filming, which creates such an ease. I mean, I have known Pete, Caleb, one of our producers, and Dave, one of our producers, for a considerable amount of time before filming, so it felt like there was a familial element to our set that I think is a rarity and a joy, and how lucky were we. And I also think I think Ross is
Really funny.
he's so much fun. He's so much fun. He's so silly. He's such a goof, but he takes his craft with great seriousness and also time and effort. And me and him sat for very many hours before we filmed this film in my kitchen, literally debating like, how many dates do we go on in a week, and how did we meet, and what did you like about me, and what foods am I allergic to? And we have a Bible on our characters.
I love that.
Which you don't get to do with everyone. That was sort of magic.
Is there what's like your favorite thing you remember from that time, like that you two decided that wouldn't necessarily end up in the film, but
That I hated to dance, and that his favorite date night was dancing, and that I would pretend to like to dance and just steal shots so I could be more loose, and that we'll never make a movie. That was never part of the film. It's just our
No.
history.
But I love that because that's why I love talking to actors about their process.
Yeah.
When you find out little things like that, you start to see how that context and that effort translates on screen, and also being directed by an actor as well. Like
Absolutely.
You get it.
Yeah, and I mean that was the most helpful thing, when there was one day where we ran into a blocking issue. It was a scene that we rehearsed. We were very fortunate that our producers carved out a week of rehearsal time because I wouldn't want to do it any other way. But there was one scene that involved more actors that it worked on the page. No one ever flagged it throughout the entire process, and we got on set, and the blocking didn't make sense, and we had to rework the dialogue to make it make sense. And so Just being able to, when an actor comes to you with an issue and go, oh yeah, you're right, that doesn't make sense, and be able to separate yourself, oh, I wrote it, but I'm not precious with it, and be like, put on a different hat, and so I can understand, because I've been in those situations where I'm like, why am I doing this, director? Like,
Sure.
well, this doesn't make sense, and you're like, oh yeah, you're right, it doesn't, let's change it.
Yeah, I think that there almost has to be like a certain kind of horror in the opposite response. Like when the director is not supportive or the writer is not supportive and they're
Right.
very married to whatever they saw.
Yeah.
Because I even find that with interviews that you can have a path that you're thinking you might take, but you have to meet people where they are.
Yes.
So it's like, and it's kind of this whole Painted thing, It's like, I don't know what you're going to draw. I don't know what's going to happen. And that's sort of terrifying, but it also adds.
I'll just wait till you see it, it's terrifying. It's not good.
Where's the lighter? Because I'd like to set it on fire. Just to real finish it off.
Wait till you see mine.
And you know what? The thing is like, that's actually why we tell everyone to leave their lighters at the door.
Yeah.
We know that could often be,
Here's the door.
yeah, that's we have a metal detector, everything.
Do we sign it?
We do sign
So I'm going
it.
to sign this, Peter.
Sarah Bolger.
Sign it with your own name.
Ross
So this is
Marquand.
proof that I cannot multitask.
And so the way we are going to reveal our masterpieces is we are first going to show them to the camera, but not each other.
All
Okay,
right.
so pick up these magical things, our art majors, and show them. Getting a big response in the room. Big response in the room. Okay.
Is there going to be a bidding war?
Nope. Nope. Okay, so we'll look at Sarah's.
Ooh, minimalistic.
I love that. I love the color scheme. I think it's very mid-century modern. It's a very terrifying eye/alien.
It's a deer eye.
Deer eye.
the roof.
Oh, deer eye. That has to do with the movie directly.
Yes.
I get that reference.
Does it not more look like a fiddler?
Oh, Fiddler on the Roof. Aw.
Yeah. All right. Wow.
And then, please. It's what I think my favorite part is the axe.
Right?
Is it an axe
It
or
is.
is he planting a
flag.
flag
No,
of
it's
some
an
kind?
axe.
Is he
Okay.
planting the lumberjack flag?
I wanted to get in touch with my inner child.
And then this is an ode to our star, Ross, who has been through a lot. And this is how I think he looks like in the wide eyes. That's one of the really, that's the.
I think that's far superior.
Yeah.
But you see that it's like moon,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
but UFO, I hope that there's an implied question mark where it's like, UFO?
Lovely.
UFO?
I'm going to use that in it.
And thank you everyone for not having your lighters in the room. We appreciate that.